Prepare yourselves. The bells have tolled. Shelter your weak, your young, and your old. Each of you shall pay the final sum. Cry for mercy! The reckoning has come!
So on October 18th, the Hallows Eve event will officially be live on TBC Classic servers, and today I want to tell you how you can fully take advantage of the event by getting really easy epic loot, some mounts and various other cool cosmetic items. So in patch 2.2 there were a few extra additions to the Hallows Eve event. There's practically nearly double the content than there was in Classic WoW. First of all, I want to talk about the Headless Horseman. I think people care about this the most because you have a chance to get really good epic loot and a really good mount. In TBC, there's a new Hallows Eve quest called the Headless Horseman, which can be picked up in either Goldshire, Karanas, an Azure Watch for the Alliance, and then for the Horde, it will be Razor Hill, Brill, and Falcon Wing Square. This will take you to the Scarlet Monastery Graveyard. The quest is fairly simple. You have to go and kill the boss, who is actually the Headless Horseman. Now the fight is pretty simple, just remember to switch to DPSing the head when it falls off and stay away from the body during this phase because it will whirlwind and hit you pretty hard. If your group DPS is fairly low, then you will have to swap to the pumpkin ads and cleave them down because otherwise you won't be able to, pump the boss fast enough before the pumpkin ads actually kill the tank. And if your DPS is high enough, then you can just keep DPSing the boss and then just throw some big heals on the tank. Let me show you the loot. This is obviously the most interesting thing. So the rings are ridiculously good. They are definitely pre-raid best in slot and they are fairly easy to obtain. The plate helmet is pre-raid best if you include pieces that you can get from heroics, so it's a good piece that you can get before you jump into phase 1 raids. Also, when you click it, you will let out a menacing Headless Horseman laugh on a 30-second cooldown, and it has 3 cheeky gem sockets. The sword is also better than any other weapon you can get from dungeons too, and it's also a good stat stick for hunters. Plus, when you click it, you will summon some pumpkin monsters. There's also some interesting cosmetic loot that will drop from the Horseman. You've obviously got the Horseman's Reins. Now, this mount is the first adaptive mount in the game, which means it adapts to your riding skill if you exclude the deluxe edition mount anyway. It can be a 60% mount, 100% mount, a 60% flying mount, and a 280% flying mount. It just depends on your current riding skill. He also drops varying mount speed broomsticks. Be careful of using the flying one while it's raining though, guys, because I've heard you actually do get dismounted. He will also drop the Hallowed Helm, which is more of just a cosmetic item, and then you've also got the Pumpkin Monster Pet. Technically you can kill the Headless Horseman an infinite amount of times, you just need people with the quest. Normally what's going to happen is people are going to make a group, and what you should do is pick up the quest so that everyone in your group can turn in the quest, and when you go there you can kill him 5 times for 5 chances of getting loot and your mount. There's also some interesting changes to the Wickerman Festival. The Wickerman Festival happens at 8 PM server time. Sylvanas will come out and give a little speech, but then she'll give the Horde a really good leveling world buff that increases your XP and reputation gained by 10%. It's a bit of effort for the Alliance to get this buff, because first of all you have to travel all the way there, then you have to kill one of the Wickerman Elite Guardians to actually get the buff, and then obviously it will flag you for PvP, so you may get killed by another player, or you actually may get killed by one of these Wickerman Guardians because they are pretty tanky. There is actually a trick for a low level player to get the buff if you really want it. It's a bit try hard, because these mobs can be very easily kited, so you can actually kite them to the Alterac Valley Supply Officer. If you use the Hallow's End pumpkin tree to get the ghost form, you will get levitate, which means you can levitate across the Lordaeron Lake. And as long as you have the tag and the supply officer kills it, you will get the experience buff. And by the looks of it, these guardians are permanently spawned. You don't have to wait around for the event to go and then kill one of these, abominations to get the buff. There's also an extra bag world drop that you should look out for. It's basically an upgraded Jack-O-Lantern 18 slot bag, and it will drop from mobs in the open world and dungeons in Outland. There's also a new Stop the Fires event where if you accept a quest in either Goldshire, Karanas, Azure Watch, Razor Hill, Brill or Falcon Wing Square, then the Headless Horseman will spawn and just start blowing everything up and flying around, saying all of his rhymes and everything, and you have to go and put the fires out that he creates. You will get some cheeky gold for this and experience, if you're under level 70, and you will also get some Hallow's End pumpkin treats. Now the Hallow's End pumpkin treats are quite interesting because it has a chance to buff you with 4 different effects. First of all, you have the pirate, which will make you look like a pirate but also give you 50% extra swim speed. You've got the ghost form, that allows you to levitate, and it will allow you to do some water walking, so it will be useful for skipping the trash in SSC. You've also got the skeleton that grants you underwater breathing, very useful for doing underwater quests. And then one of them just increases your size by 30% and makes you totally orange, and then there's a 5% chance to also increase the time between attacks by 25% and reduce your movement speed by 30%. That's on a 5% proc chance, so yeah, do not use these things in combat. From these quests you can also get a weighted jack-o'-lantern, which is just a fun item you can throw on someone's head and it puts a pumpkin head on them. You can also trick and treat all the innkeeps in Azeroth and Outland. Obviously there's a chance that you get a trick or a treat. If you get a treat, then this will be in the form of a really useful candy item that regenerates 3% of your health and mana over 25 seconds. I would recommend saving these items actually for phase 6 because the mage food that, the conjured mana biscuits that you get from the table will eventually not be able to fully regenerate the health of a tank or the mana of a healer, whereas this food can. You might also get a mask representing one of the other races, or you may get a wand that can transform other people into a bat, ghost, leper gnome, ninja, pirate, skeleton, or a wisp. Now the wisp and bat wands can actually be used to troll people since you can't attack in those forms, so you can use it on someone in the middle of a raid fight to nerf their DPS, or at the beginning of a raid fight to mess up their opener, and make them waste their cooldowns and stuff like that. Or you can use it on someone who isn't listening to tactics and still attacking something that it shouldn't be. However, you can also be tricked, which means you'll get turned into a critter, which can be a frog, snake or kitten, or a human ghost skeleton, or a mini Diablo for some reason, and that will happen for a short while and you simply cannot remove that debuff. Or you will also get buffed with one of the wand spells, but you can actually click those ones off. And inside of the inns there will also be bobbing apples, which provides a similar food item to the one I mentioned earlier, but slightly worse, but it will grant you stamina and spirit. There's also 2 little quest lines that you can do in Hallows Eve. The first quest line is to help the orphans. For the Alliance, this starts at Jesper in Stormwind Cathedral Square, or Scoops in Orgrimmar within the Valley of Honour. Once you've completed the quest, you will get 30 of the Hallow's End pumpkin treats. It requires you to go between all of the major cities, so it is best done with a mage if you want to save time. The prank quests will give you some gold and more Hallow's End pumpkin treats if you want to stack up on them. The Horde can go and throw stink bombs on South Shore and ruin their beer, which isn't very nice. Who would want to ruin good beer? And the Alliance gets a quest to remove the stink bombs and go check out the Wickerman Festival in Tristful Glades. Now this is a PvP quest, so even if you're on a PvE server, it should actually flag you for PvP, so just be mindful of that. All of these quests give 15 of the Hallow's End pumpkin treats each, so they're great to do if you want to stack up on those items for the transformations. And that's everything to look forward to in the Hallows Eve event. By the way guys, I'm not sure I'm going to go out this year for Halloween, so I may stay in playing some horror games on my live stream, so I'll leave a link to that in the description. It's Twitch MetaGoblin 1. Anyway, my name is MetaGoblin, see you in my next video. Ciao.